I'm Chris Cardaz.
And I'm John Fedko.
And
we
love
love
vinyl
vinyl
records.
records. We're going back to April 4th, 1964.
Would you like to come along?
Yes! We're going to take a look at the top 10 albums from the Billboard 150 LP chart, plus a lot more albums from that crazy year on that chart. And we'll show you the top 10 45 singles from the Billboard 100 and a lot more singles from the charts from 1964, the week April 4th. I was 4 years old. The country was still recovering from President Kennedy being shot in 63, but there were 4 lads from England who were changing the music industry forever.
Now, what's interesting about this chart is you get to see the beginnings of Beatlemania and everything, but you also get to see what was happening before the Beatles came along, because there's a dramatic shift right about now. So let's get started. Album number 1 today that we're going back to, number 148. This is one of my favorite groups, the instrumental group, The Ventures, and Let's Go. A great album to learn to play guitar by. Number 144 this week was the Beach Boys and Surfer Girl. This has a real nice hype sticker on it.
Wow.
For In My Room. How about that?
And is this mono? This is the mono. So you want to try to get these early Beach Boy albums in mono.
Very nice. Number 141, this is a surf group. I collect surf music. These are the Safaris and Hit City in 64. Number 135, our first Beatle album. Check this out. This is the Beatles. They call it the Old Man cover. It's called Jolly What? The Beatles on stage with Frank Ifield. It has like 4 Beatles songs on it, and the rest are by Frank Ifield. Unusual record.
Wow, on the VJ label.
On the VJ label. There's also a different cover for that. It's called The Beatles and Frank Ifield. This is a reprint. I do not have an original of this.
Wow.
Very rare record, but it's got a nice portrait of them on there, also on VJ. And that's going to start our Beatles collection. We're moving down to number 131. Great soul album, great music. We hear this on the radio all the time. Major Lance. I think this is the best of Major Lance. Come out of Chicago. This was produced by Curtis Mayfield. Major Lance. Number 129. This is another surf group and a hot rod group. I have a lot of surf albums, a lot of hot rod albums that never even charted, but these ones did chart. This one's number 129. These are the Astronauts. Now, number 121, one of the premier, if not the premier soul singer of all time. This is Sam Cooke. And this is Ain't That Good News, number 121. Wouldn't it have been great to hear 20 more albums by Sam Cooke, wouldn't it? Number 120, Soul Singer Supreme. This is the great Etta James, and Etta James rocks the house. When she tells you something, you better listen. Let me tell you, Etta James, she can really lay you out, really belt it. I like her a lot. She's the one that sings At Last. Did you hear it on the radio all the time? At Last. It's become a classic over the years. How many birthday parties have you been to? How many fairs or festivals when they said little Sally Smith's going to sing At Last? And you wonder, why me? Why? And how can I get out of here? Okay, there we go. Etta James. Number 119. This is an instrumental group. This is great. This is the Pyramids and Penetration. It's a classic instrumental song. These are like the anti-Beatles. See, the Beatles had long hair. Now these guys, they don't have a picture of them here, but they performed a lot by, they shaved their heads, so they would perform with no hair. So that's the Pyramids. And they showed up for one of their concerts all sitting on top of an elephant or a camel. One of those, they just drove right up to where they were playing, and they were on a giant animal. So that's how we're getting started here. Next, we have Mr. Bob Dylan and his second LP.
Where's this on the charts on April 4th,
This
1964?
is number 118 this week. This is called Freewheelin'.
The second album.
This is the one that's so, this is not the one that's so rare with the extra songs on it, but it's unusual because it has this hype sticker on it. It says, singing his sensational hit Blowing in the Wind.
Look at that hype
and
sticker.
You never see that. So this
cool.
album's a little bit tattered. It's a little bit older.
And this is the mono version of it. You want to try to get the mono of that.
This is also a mono one, and this is a nicer cover.
Look
this
at
is got some cellophane on it.
Wow, that's
there
in great condition. That's in great condition.
Good album also. A lot of great stuff blown in the wind. Number 114, the oldie that you hear every day on the oldie station, right? Diane Renee, navy blue, good-looking lady here, blue, navy blue. Don't see that album all the time. Number 104, you ready for this?
I'm ready, baby.
Are you ready?
104 on April 4th, 1964.
This is I Am the Greatest.
Oh, no.
Cassius Clay.
104?
104.
What is he doing on this album?
This album went all the way to number 61. It was on the charts for 20 weeks. So if you're on the street and you would run into Cassius Clay and he would say, I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. When he says, I am the greatest, what are you going to say? No, you're not. No, you're going to say, yes. You are the greatest.
Is he spoken word? Is he singing?
I believe he is singing.
This is incredible.
That'll be on our wall of celebrities when we do that too, is Cassius Clay.
That's incredible.
Let's see there. After that, we have the Safaris again with their classic song, Wipeout.
Yeah, had that 45.
There's a lot of copies of this floating around. This is the Safaris and Wipeout. Another surf album coming up. That's what was happening before the Beatles. Surf music and
big on this chart.
Hot rod music and things like that. This is the Beach Boys' second LP. This is when they really started to smoke here. This was Surfing USA. The single was number 3. The album was number 2. It was on the charts for 78 weeks. So the Beach Boys had arrived. Okay.
Wow.
Number 84. We talked earlier about Curtis Mayfield. There's Curtis right in the front with his group, The Impressions. This is their first album on ABC. They did an album with Jerry Butler before that, I think, on VJ. But this is their first album as the 3 of them. It's All Right, Have a Good Time. Who doesn't like that song? That's a great song. Number 79, one of my wife's favorite bands, the Trashmen and Surfing Bird. Every time this song comes on the radio, my wife turns it off. And I said, what are you doing? It's the Trashmen. But, some people just don't understand. There's a video online of the Trashmen doing Surfing Bird while the little girl Wednesday from the Addams Family and Lurch are dancing to this song. It is the most hysterical thing. Next, we have number 77, another Beatles album. This is an unusual record.
Wow.
This is on MGM. They had the rights to the song My Bonnie, which was done by Tony Sheridan and the Beat Brothers. The Beat Brothers are the Beatles. So they cranked it out. Everybody bought Tony Sheridan and the Beat.
But this isn't the Beatles.
It's them, but they're singing backup on it. Tony Sheridan sings lead. But this album went all the way to number 68.
Just because it had the Beatles in the title.
My Bonnie by the Beatles, yes.
That is incredible.
I don't know if there's any other Beatles on here or not. Yeah, there's several songs by the Beatles on this album. I haven't heard it in a while. Number 69, this is an instrumental group. This is a great song, The Ventures, and a lot of people did this song. Out of Limits, the Marquettes. That's number 69.
Okay. April 4th, 1964. Where are we at now?
We are at number 67. This is Jan and Dean.
Oh.
These guys cranked out some great hits. This is one of their best songs, and the album that goes with it, this is called Drag City. This is a well done song, very complicated. If you're starting a band back then, you didn't do Drag City. It was a little tough to deal with. Next, we have number 63, My Man, Elvis. Now, we had this album when I was growing up. My brother Larry bought this album home, and we played it about 8,000 times. So
The volume 3.
this is volume 3 of his greatest hits. This is Elvis at his absolute best. This is what I think. This is when I think he sounded the best. He had his best voice and did the best material. They were recording in stereo. This has the easy listening hits. It's Now or Never, Are You Lonesome Tonight? Has rock and roll, his latest flame, Little Sister, She's Not You, Fame and Fortune, Surrender. It is outstanding.
Okay.
What's also outstanding is if you bought this album in the store, you didn't get an insert, but the man behind the counter would give you this photo book of Elvis Presley. Check this out.
That is so cool.
It is so cool, and the pictures are just incredible.
Wow.
Color pic, look at that. Green-backed Elvis.
So it didn't come in the album. You got it at the store.
That's what the way I understand it, as history proclaims. That's what you got.
That is really cool.
That is very cool indeed.
Get off of there.
Number 60 coming up, moving right up the charts. This is the chairman of the board.
Oh, yeah.
This is Frank Sinatra. Sinatra.
Great
What
album.
this is a newly recorded versions of his older songs. It was done in stereo and everything, and they just sound out of sight.
This is a must-have Sinatra album.
Oh, that's a great
It is a
record.
must-have one.
Back to the Hot Rod records. This is Hey Little Cobra by the Ripcords.
Where's this on the charts?
Let's take a look. Yeah, I'm sometimes a little lax on the numbers here. This is number 59, the Ripcords. Bruce Johnston of the Beach Boys has something to do with these guys. Wrote a couple of the songs. They're all these guys worked with each other. The Beach Boys did stuff. Brian Wilson did things with Jan and Dean, and that's so they all knew each other.
Surf music was just huge in '64.
Yeah, really good, really good. Drag City.
Surf music and hot.
That's what am I saying? Hey Little Cobra, of course. Number 48. A lot of people that I know, this is their favorite singer. This is Roy Orbison, and this is his first greatest hit album. And it has some of his big stuff, some of his big hits, Crying, and Candyman, Dream Baby, Only the Lonely. That's the main one. Only the Lonely. I love that. I love that a lot. Roy Orbison's greatest hits. Let's talk about him a little bit. In the 50s, he did rockabilly songs. He even recorded for Sun Records. He did an album on the song Ooby Dooby. In the 60s, he did all these pop hits. In the early 60s, that's when he was the most famous. During the Beatles era, he had probably his biggest hit, Oh Pretty Woman, which they play every day. There's a story about them riding on the bus with the Beatles. He was one of the guys that opened for the Beatles in England. And the Beatles were playing songs for Roy, and Roy said, well, I have a song here that I've been working on. He plays them, Oh Pretty Woman. And Paul leaned over, I think he said to John, he said, if he's going to write songs like that, we better boom up a little bit, is what he said. And all the way, Roy was there in 1988 when the Traveling Wilburys album came out, and his main song in there is a song called Not Alone Anymore, and it's one of the best things he ever did. So he was great when he started all the way through. He was always doing something.
Wow, that's cool.
Always something. Ventures are next. Again, number 42.
42.
This is great. This is the Ventures in Space. There we are. Number 37, a very special record for me. This is the first album I ever purchased with my own money.
Wow.
This is the actual album, too. This is the actual one. You can see. This is the golden hits of the 4 seasons. My brother bought a Introducing the Beatles album, and the inner sleeve had pictures of other albums, and it had this picture there, and I said, boy, I'd like to have that. So somebody was nice enough to take me downtown to buy it. This is it. Got a little bit of ring wear here. There's a couple of rips in the back there. This is my original
on VJ Records.
On VJ. I have a better copy of it now than I keep up here, but I couldn't part with my original first album.
So cool.
Very nice. Let me tell you about the Four Seasons a little bit. Their first 3 releases on VJ. Sherry was #1 for 5 weeks. Big Girls Don't Cry was #1 for 5 weeks. Walk Like a Man was #1 for 3 weeks. And Candy Girl this week was all the way up to #3, or it got as high as #3. And these are all on VJ. They're about to switch labels here pretty soon. Number 33, a little country action for you. This is another album that I played a lot when I was growing up at home. My brother had this album, Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash. This is like a best of, so there's some older things on there. But it's such a great album, country. If you're starting a Johnny Cash collection, this would be a good album to start with, okay? Number 30 again, this is the Beach Boys and the Hot Rod album this time. Moving from surf albums to Hot Rod. This is Little Deuce Coupe. It has got 409 on it and Shut Down. And it's really cool. I believe it's their 4th LP. Number 23, Elvis comes in with a soundtrack album of Fun in Acapulco. If you want to hear Elvis with a Mexican slant to it, it's really good. The movie's entertaining to watch. Number 22, Mr. Bob Dylan and The Times They Are A-Changing. I think this is one of his finer LPs. Protest music. There's a song on here called With God on Our Side. It really grabs you, that they didn't play on AM radio. Same with like Masters of War. I really like songs like that. Anyway, that's Bob. The Times They Are A-Changing. Number 19, the Four Seasons are coming in with a new record.
Again.
With a new record, a new label, Phillips.
Wow.
And this is Dawn.
On the charts with highly charted albums, but with 2 different labels. We're going to see that again too.
Yeah, they changed labels to, and this is their
Phillips.
first album on Phillips.
They were on
Dawn.
VJ on the last one. Okay.
Number 18, just one album in a long string of chart albums by Ray Charles, the man who invented soul music, you know. Number 12, what was going on before the Beatles? What was going on? What was happening a bit? This is what was happening. The Singing Nun was happening.
Singing Nun was at number 12.
Number 12. Let me tell you about the Singing Nun, John. Let me tell you. This album was #1 on the charts for 10 weeks. It was the 2nd biggest album from 1963. The biggest album was Andy Williams' Days of Wine and Roses. They wouldn't play the Beatles over here in 1963, but the Singing Nun. That was really...
Dominique, of course, is
that was really hot stuff.
Yep.
Really hot stuff. Number 11, getting close to the top 10. The Godfather of Soul. This is before he was the Godfather of Soul. This is a nice gatefold album of Mr. James Brown, Pure Dynamite on King Records. Gotta love it. Dun, 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 dun. We're going to do the top 10. Are you ready?
Here we go.
Are you ready to
Let's
go?
go. Top 10 albums from April 4th, 1964.
Now, this is very interesting because I pulled a lot of rock and roll and surf music and hot rod music and soul music, but this is the actual top 10. We're not skipping anything. So it'll be interesting to show you what was going on when the Beatles came out. Number 10, this is Henry Mancini from the motion picture Charade. This is a great song, a hauntingly beautiful song, and that is Henry Mancini, number 10. Number 9, this is the first Peter, Paul, and Mary album.
It's a great album.
This album actually came out in 62, I
Wow.
believe.
And it's number 9 in 64 still. That is awesome.
This album was number 1 for 7 weeks. It was on the charts for 185 weeks
Wow.
and sold 2 million copies. That's a lot of records.
Yeah,
for
of course it had If I Had a Hammer on It, 500 Miles.
Yeah.
It's got some of their all-time
Yeah,
greats on there.
that was a big one. I love Peter, Paul, and
You
Mary.
gotta love them.
Number 8 is from Cannonsburg, Mr. Bobby Vinton. There I've Said It Again. One of his classic LPs. This is kind of a jazzy vocalist. Made a ton of albums. She must have charted with 50, 60 albums. This is Nancy Wilson. And yesterday's love songs, today's blues. I love to listen to her.
Number 6 on April 4th, 1964.
Yeah, we can do that. Number 6, Peter, Paul, and Mary. Again, 2 albums in the top 10.
That is incredible.
This is their 3rd album. This one's called In the Wind. This may be their biggest, most important album. This has Tell It on the Mountain, Stu Bald, has Bob Dylan's Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, and of course, The Answer is Blowing in the Wind. This is a big LP. It was a number 1 album for 5 weeks. Number 5, Miss Barbra Streisand in 1964. This is her 3rd LP. And it was on the charts for 74 weeks.
Wow.
Number 4, this is a Broadway LP. This is the Broadway LP for Hello, Dolly, featuring Carol Channing. This is number 4 on RCA. They call that an original cast LP. And number 3, and I had this album when I was growing up. Somebody bought this in my house. Al Hurt, Honey in the Horn. There's a big single off of this called Java that they played all the time. You still hear it on the radio. Al Hurt. So let's repeat that. From 10 to 3, Henry Mancini, Peter, Paul, and Mary, Bobby Vinton, Nancy Wilson, Peter, Paul, and Mary again, Barbra Streisand, Hello, Dolly, original cast, and Al Hurt. Not a whole lot of rock and roll going on there. But the Beatles are coming. There's rumblings. And the number 2 album this week, number 2 album, The Beatles. Introducing the Beatles. Makes things very complicated. This is the VJ. They had the rights to these songs, and they turned out an album right from the get-go. In fact, they had turned this album out in 63. Now, there's several different versions of this. This particular one has Ask Me Why and Please Please Me on it. And another version of this that I have has Love Me Do and P.S. I Love You on it. Now, some of the older versions of this, there's one version that has a blank back. There's nothing on it. It's just white. Another one has pictures of albums by other VJ artists, like an inner sleeve type thing, but it's printed on the back. I don't have those albums.
And now this is one of the most counterfeited albums in the world. So if you see this, and you see this all the time in shops at its cheap price, probably a counterfeit. It is a counterfeit if it's a cheap price. And there's a couple of ways to find an original. And look it up on Google because there's actually a lot of them. But one critical one is above that spindle hole, it should say Introducing the Beatles and the Beatles. A lot of the fakes break that up. The Beatles is below the spindle hole. So remember, you want Introducing the Beatles and the Beatles above the spindle hole. And another obvious one, I think, Chris, is the fake ones are really muffled colored covers. These are real crisp. See how crisp the picture is on these?
You can see the shadow of George over here.
So if you see a cover and it is not a crisp picture, it's a fake. And these things were bootlegged by the million.
There's millions.
Most of these you see in a used record store, most of them are fake. They're not the originals. Okay.
VJ turned out all this material and they kept reshuffling it and repackaging it. Here's one of them. This is called Songs, Pictures, and
Wow.
Stories of the Fabulous Beatles. It's not even a complete cover. It's
It's
when you
cool.
open it up, it has pictures of them on there, and
Yeah.
that is very nice. I
That is
like that.
so cool. Okay.
But it's the same album. It probably says Introducing the Beatles on the actual record.
Wow.
Here's my favorite one. 2 record set, the Beatles versus the Four Seasons. So you could, what's it say? Each delivering their greatest vocal punches, and you could listen to it and write down your favorites and check it out and everything. It came with a poster that I can't find. It's very expensive. But it's also, this is the same record introducing the Beatles, and this Four Seasons one is the one I showed you, the golden hits of the Four Seasons. Later on, another year and a half after that, Capitol released all these records as the early Beatles. Same record, same songs.
As on Introducing the Beatles,
Yes,
VJ.
right.
Yeah.
And the British version of this is called Please Please Me. It has 14 songs on it. It has the 12 from
This is on the Parlophone label now.
from the VJ record, and the extra 2 songs that they put on the other album. So all 14 of those early Beatles songs did show up on this first album, but the albums get more complicated as you move along. Going to the number 1 album. The number 1 album this week is Meet the Beatles, the album that changed the world. Okay, great cover that they took for this. The Beatles always managed to take great covers.
And this is the mono version. You want to try to get, this is an album that all collectors should get, the mono and the stereo version. And you want to get the mono version. And I have on my mono version, the other thing you want to get on these, obviously you're going to get the rainbow. You're going to want to get the rainbow label. That's one of the first pressings. But the cool thing about these is the blue inner sleeve, okay? And you know you're getting the right inner sleeve with this mono Meet the Beatles when you see a Peggy Lee album on one side at the top and this Sinatra album on the other side of the top. You're not going to see any Beatles albums on the inner sleeve because this is their first album on Capitol. So you want to get this blue inner sleeve when you're looking for this, and you want to get it in mono.
What's interesting about Meet the Beatles in the United States is they put this single on it. They put I Want to Hold Your Hand on here because that did not show up on the British counterpart. I don't know if I saw her standing there. Is not that actually belongs to their first album. I saw her standing there, but that also is on this Meet the Beatles album. So both sides of that single are on Meet the Beatles. This is the British counterpart with the Beatles. This is a killer
This
version.
is their second British release.
Yeah, this is
their second British album.
Brilliant album.
Yeah.
Just one I like to listen to over and
so,
over.
So in Britain, the Beatles' first LP was Please Please Me, and then they came out with the Beatles in Britain on the Parlophone label.
Well, one of my favorite songs of all time is on this, by the Beatles, is on this album. It's a song called All I've Got to Do. Just John Lennon just ripping it up, just showing you what Beatlemania is. Now, I read somewhere, I think I read it somewhere, a statistic that just knocked my socks off. It said that in 1964, 75% of the records sold were the Beatles. 75% of the records sold in the United States were by the Beatles, and 25% was everything else. Now, I don't know where I read this. It may have been the Beaver County Gazette or something, so you know it's true. So I just wanted to lay that out there for you, okay? If you don't agree with me, like I said, I'm not sure. This is just what I read. All right, I have one more album to show you here.
Let's go.
Next week, it's not on this chart, but next week, the first album by the Dave Clark 5 came out, Glad All Over. And there's a couple of singles on the charts by them. This is an album without the instruments, and this is the one that you see most of the time with the instruments. Now, the reason I brought this up is they are the second biggest British invasion group at this time, 1964 and half of 1965. These guys were huge. You would see things on the newsstands, Beatles versus the Dave Clark Five. Who's the best? Who's your favorites? These guys had 17 top 40 45s. 14 of them hit the top 20, and 8 of those hit the top 10. They were on the Ed Sullivan Show 19 times. So this was a huge act, but you don't hear about them all the time. They disappeared from the charts for like 20 years. Dave Clark was a shrewd businessman, owned all these songs, pulled everything off the market, and you couldn't even get these songs. Maybe there was one greatest hits somewhere, but you not only didn't see them, see the records, they stopped playing them on the radio. And that's why when you hear a statistic like this about how big they were, you don't really believe it, but it's true. And it wasn't until the Rolling Stones hit with The Last Time and I Can't Get No Satisfaction. That was the middle of 1965. That became the #1 song of the year. Then they obviously took over as the second biggest group.
From Britain. Okay.
And that's where we are. We're going to move on into singles here. All right, we're moving right along, right into the 45s during our Beatle week here, Beatlemania, just to show you, this is very interesting, to show you the domination of the Beatles, particularly this week, April 4th, 1964. We're going to start with a couple of bubbling under records. This is the lovely Jackie DeShannon, and Oh Boy at 112. Number 110, this is a Pittsburgh classic. This is Scott English, High on a Hill. There's 2 versions of that on Sultan originally. And then the chart record is on Purple Spokane.
Wow.
There's 2 different versions of that. This guy also is famous for writing the song Mandy that Barry Manilow did. He also wrote Bend Me, Shape Me, and this song went all the way to number 77. Number 109, my favorite folk group, the New Christy Minstrels, and a lovely ballad called Today.
Where is this on the charts?
This is number 109.
109, okay. So we're still not even in the top 100 yet. Okay.
No, number 106, this is one of the last Supremes records before they hit real big. This is called Run, Run, Run. It was number 106. This is their 6th single out of 7 that did not hit big. So they had 7 songs before they had 6 #1 singles in a row, is what they did. So it happened in a hurry. Barbra Streisand again at number 100, People Who Need People, classic record. Number 85, Beatles Oriented. This is the 4 Preps who started out in the 50s. They used to show up on the Ricky Nelson, Ozzie and Harriet show. This is a letter to the Beatles by the 4 Preps, kind of a backhanded, lighthearted tribute to the Beatles. Number 80, great picture sleeve. This is Henry Mancini in the Pink Panther, all right? Number 71, this is the B-side of this single. This is Thank You Girl, the Beatles. Thank You Girl. I have to pull
VJ
that
Records.
on VJ Records. Nice. And number 75, well, there are more Thank You Girls. Let's talk about this. I won't do it when we get to the A-side.
Wow.
This is a what they call color band brackets. This is a black brackets, and this is just a regular black version of it. There might be more, like John said, check it out on the YouTube and all this stuff, and they'll tell you about all the different. Well, here's another one, John. This is a yellow label.
Thank you, girl.
Wow. Thank you, girl. Yeah.
Okay,
moving along to, let me get that picture sleeve here because I'm going to need that.
Okay.
Dusty Springfield. Everybody loves Dusty
What number is this?
Springfield.
On
Number
April 4th,
75. Yes,
Yeah.
Stay a While, Dusty Springfield. I think she was Scottish. Number 73. This is kind of a soul record, a bluesy vocal by Irma Thomas. Wish Someone Would Care. Beatles again, number 68. This is Capital of Canada with Roll Over Beethoven. This is number 68. The flip side was Please, Mr. Postman. Number 65, one of my favorite Beatles songs of all time. This is the flip side of the number one single this week. This is You Can't Do That, okay? You can't do that.
The flip side of the number one song is number 65. Okay.
Love that song.
Okay.
Number 65. Number 61, The Impressions. We showed you that album earlier. This is I'm So Proud, a great song for weddings and everything. It's a slow song. Up, the Beatles again, number 58. This is also Capital of Canada with All My Loving. Paul McCartney singing All My Loving. This was the first song they sang on the Ed Sullivan Show. Flipped with This Boy, a great vocal harmony song. And number 56, one of the early singles by Little Stevie Wonder. Got a little promo here. This is called Castles in the Sand. So Stevie Wonder going all the way back to 64, 63. He's been around for a long time. He was only 12 years old, I think, or 13. Number 52, I brought this. It's Bobby V's latest single. It's called I'll Make You Mine. Both sides of the singles, very apropos for April 4th, 1964. They both sound exactly like the Beatles. These songs, you play this, they're not very good, but they sound like the Beatles. So people were catching on, okay?
Yeah.
People were catching on. Number 50, this is the first week in for this song. This is the first time that people heard, they turned the radio on and heard My Guy by Mary Wells. How many times have you heard that song in your lifetime? I'm saying maybe 8,000, 9,000 times. Okay, My Guy. All right, here's my boys, the Dave Clark 5. I showed you that album earlier. This is their second big hit, I believe. Bits and Pieces, a real stomper. The Beatles in at number 46 again. Just keep in mind how many times I say the Beatles because they're here all the time. This is the A side of this single. This is Do You Want to Know a Secret? Sung delightfully by George Harrison. Some people make fun of that song, like wasn't very good at that. I thought it was absolutely charming. Yeah. I like it a lot. Okay, do you want to know a secret? Number 45, this is a picture sleeve of the Pyramids and Penetration, an instrumental song. Number 41, right outside the top 40 today, this is We Love You, Beatles by the Carefrees. One of the most irritating songs of all time. So if your parents were irritated by the Beatles, think of what this song would have done. We'll just
That's at 41?
Number 41. There's an album by them, too. I didn't bring that today. Maybe next week we'll bring you. We Love You, Beatles on a red label, and this is a gold label of We Love You, Beatles. Wow. Blasting into the top 40. The Carefrees, We Love You, Beatles came in at number 42. I said 41. That's not correct. Number 41
was the Beatles.
Number 41 will be the Beatles. Let me, I skipped a few sheet musics here. Here's a Thank You Girl.
Wow.
This is a particularly nice one. Do You Want to Know a Secret? And number 41 this week is From Me to You. This is the B side of this single, the A side.
On the VJ label.
It's on the, in the top 5. This is a color band label.
DJ. Yeah.
And here's a brackets label of that. And here's a black label version of that.
Wow.
And here's the sheet music of From Me to You, 41. Skipping to number 31, we have let me get this out of here. I'm going to need this. Number 31 will be the B side of this single, which would be I Saw Her Standing There. They have
On
it
the Capitol
on the
label.
top, and I want to hold your hand on this side. It said I saw her standing there.
It's on the Capitol label.
Yeah, and I have a sheet music for I Saw Her Standing There. That's nice. We're going to take this. Number 29 coming up is an Elvis Presley picture sleeve. This is It Hurts Me. It's one of his best ballads. He must have liked it because 4 years later he sang it in his 68 comeback special. I don't know if it made the cut, but he actually did sing this song, It Hurts Me. Number 25 is Dead Man's Curve by Jan and Dean, flipped with another song called The New Girl in School. They're both great songs. It's a great two-sided hit by Jan and Dean. Number 24, this is a British invasion group called the Swinging Blue Jeans and Hippie Hippie Shake. Number 17 was the flip side of It Hurts Me, Kissin' Cousins from the movie Kissin' Cousins, Elvis Presley. Number 15.
You have some sheet music you want to show?
Yeah, let's do that. Sheet music for It Hurts Me, Elvis. Dead Man's Curve, Jan and Dean. Kissin' Cousins. And number 15. This is interesting. This is a British invasion group. They don't always talk about these guys, but they're very good. This is the Searchers. And this is like a promo sleeve. It says, This is the group and record that knocked the Beatles out of first place in England. The Searchers.
Right on there in the
It's
cover.
pretty rare. And the regular picture sleeve is this. Needles and pins, and there's the sheet music, okay? Number 13, the Beach Boys with a monster hit here. This is Fun, Fun, Fun. It only got as high as number 5, but it's been a monster ever since. You hear it every day. Every day. Let me see what I have about that. Career-defining song, Chuck Berry intro, well-crafted, highly polished. You can see by that song that the Beach Boys weren't going away. Here's the sheet music for Fun, Fun, Fun. Number 12 coming up. This is the Temptations and their first big hit song, The Way You Do the Things You Do. Started out more in doo-wop, moved to soul and rock, and they were pioneers in the Motown sound. Number 11, of course, the Four Seasons on Phillips this time. You've seen all those VJ singles. This is Dawn Go Away, and this is the sheet music, and we're ready for the top 10 singles. Top 10
Let's do
singles.
it. Top 10 singles on April 4th, 1964.
Number 10, we talked a little bit about these guys earlier. This is their classic song. This is the Dave Clark 5 and Glad All Over. I still love this song. They're from Tottenham, England. This is an oldie staple. You got massive airplay.
And the sheet music?
And the sheet music. I have two different versions of this. This is Glad All Over, and this is another different font of Glad All Over. Number 9 is Bobby Vinton's My Heart Belongs to Only You from Canonsburg, PA, and there's Bobby Vinton. Number 8, this is a great soul record. They still play this a lot. This is called the Shoop Shoop Song by Betty Everett. It's on a black VJ, and here's a brackets VJ. This song has been redone by people like Aretha Franklin, and Cher had a hit with this song also later on, the Shoop Shoop Song. You'll know it when you hear it. Number 7 is Louis Armstrong and Hello, Dolly. Number 6 is Terry Stafford, a guy who sounds just like Elvis Presley. Took an Elvis song right off of his album, Potluck, and had a top 10 single with it called Suspicion. There's 2 different versions of that.
And you got the sheet music.
Here's the sheet music. No picture of Terry on there, but that's the sheet music.
And here we go.
Here we go. These are the top 5 singles from April 4th, 1964. Number 5, The Beatles. And Please Please Me. This is a oval
the VJ label.
color band. I'm not showing you all the different versions of that because we showed you that on the flip from me to you. There's Please Please Me right there. Nice picture of the boys. Number 4, well, let's see. Please Please Me is an Orbison type of song. They wanted to do it slower like Roy Orbison. But it's a difficult song. I believe it was number 3, got as high as number 3. Beatles number 4 is I Want to Hold Your Hand. Just dominated the airwaves. Number 1 song of the year. Was number 1 for 7 weeks. This week it's coming in at number 4. Where's the sheet music for I Want to Hold Your Hand?
You just put it up there.
Ah, there we go.
Let's look at the single.
Here's the single, I Want to Hold Your Hand.
On the Capitol label.
Sold a lot of copies of that record. Number 3, coming up on the Swan label. This is the Black Swan. She Loves You. Here's a White Swan version of She Loves You. And here's the sheet music.
That's number 3 on April 4th, 1964.
Please Please Me, Want to Hold Your Hand, She Loves You. Number 2, The Beatles, Twist and Shout. This is a yellow label with green lettering with a square around Tolly. Here's a yellow label with black lettering with a square on it. Here's a yellow label with green lettering with no square on it. This is just the type of things that you're dealing with
the
here.
Sheet music for Twist and Shout, number 2
sheet
song,
music
April 4th,
for
1964.
Twist and Shout.
And the number 1 is, of course...
The reason Twist and Shout wasn't number 1 is because the number 1 single is...
The Beatles.
Can't Buy Me Love by the Beatles. They turned out the same picture from... I Want to Hold Your Hand, but then they withdrew it because it was getting confusing. So this is a very rare picture sleeve. Can't Buy Me Love. There's the actual single, Swirl Capital. And this is the sheet music for Can't Buy Me Love. Let me see what I have here. What was happening at this time of all these Beatles songs? Kids were watching the Ed Sullivan Show. They were growing their hair long. They were buying guitars and drums. They were starting bands. And next year and the year after that, you see all these bands show up, a lot of them from America, all influenced by the Beatles, dominating the charts. And there was a complete shift from like 1963 to 1965. A lot of people that were big in 63 were gone by 64, 65. One more thing, VJ had a lot of songs in their warehouse come Christmas time, late in the year, so they turned a lot of them out with this special Christmas sleeve. The Beatles, We Wish You a Merry Christmas. And I believe that was a very good thing. It was a great time, and I hope you enjoyed it. How about that, John? Anything you want to add to that?
I think you've said it all. April 4th, 1964, dominated by the Beatles.